Welcome to Lab to Lecture. In today's session, you'll dive into Topic 1, States of Matter. Together, we'll tackle exam-style questions, break down key concepts, and unravel the fascinating principles behind solids, liquids, and gases. Whether you're reviewing for your Cambridge IGCSE chemistry exam or just brushing up on the basics, this video will give you the clarity and confidence you need to ace those questions. Grab your pens, notebooks, and let's get solving, step by step, concept by concept. Question 1. The table shows the melting points, boiling points, and electrical conductivity of 6 substances. Identify the substance D, E, F, G, H, or I, which is liquid at 25 degrees Celsius. Remember, between solid and liquid, the temperature is melting point, and between liquid and gas, the temperature is boiling point. If you want the substance to be liquid, it means 25 is between its melting and boiling point, and that happens only in E. Gas at 25 degrees Celsius, it means 25 is higher than its boiling point, and that happens only in H. A solid consisting of simple molecules at 25. At 25, the substance has to be solid. It means 25 is below or before its melting point, and that could be here, 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 or there. Remember, simple molecular substance has poor electrical conductivities, and F seems to be giant because it has high melting and boiling points, so it's not F. Now, if you compare between the remaining options, G and I, G has much lower melting and boiling point. That's why you expect the answer to be G. Question 2. The names of the elements of period 2 of the periodic table are shown. Identify the element which has the highest rate of diffusion at room temperature. Highest rate of diffusion, it means you are looking for the lightest gas particle. Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon are solids. Nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon are gases. However, remember that nitrogen exists in nature as diatomic molecule, oxygen exists as a diatomic molecule, fluorine a diatomic molecule. However, neon is a monatomic, so the answer is going to be neon. Question 3. Name the element from the first 30 elements in the periodic table, which is the gas with the slowest rate of diffusion at room temperature. Slowest, it means you're looking for the heaviest. If you check the periodic table, the first 30 elements until zinc, but zinc is a metal, it cannot diffuse, so we're looking for non-metals that can diffuse, and the first non-metal that can diffuse below 30 is argon. However, argon is monatomic, but chlorine is the heaviest diatomic. So the mass of a single monatomic argon gas is 40. The mass of the diatomic molecule of chlorine is 35.5 times 2, so it's going to be 71. So 71 is heavier. So the answer is chlorine. Question 4. A substance boils at temperature X and melts at temperature Y. Complete the graph to show the change in temperature over time as the substance cools from a temperature A to temperature B. That's a cooling curve. So from A to X, and then it's constant for some time, and then it goes down until Y, and then it's constant for some time, and then it goes down until B. Question 5. Substances can change state. Boiling and evaporation are two ways in which liquid changes into a gas. Describe two differences between boiling and evaporation. One of the differences could be boiling occurs only at a specific temperature, which is the boiling point. The second difference could be boiling has bubbles, so you observe bubbles in case of boiling. So boiling has bubbles. Name the change of state when a gas becomes a liquid. That's condensing. When a solid becomes a gas directly, that's sublimation. Question 6. This question is about states of matter. Complete the table by using ticks and crosses to describe the properties of gases, liquids, and solids. Particles are touching not in the gaseous state, but in both liquid and solid states. Particles have random movement in gaseous states, in liquid states, but not in solid states. Particles are regularly arranged, not in the gaseous state, not in the liquid state, but in the solid state. Question 7. Zinc is extracted from zinc blende. When zinc is extracted, it's formed as a gas. The gaseous zinc is then converted into molten zinc. State the name of this physical change. From gas into a liquid or molten zinc, that's condensing or condensation. Question 8. The elements shown are gases at room temperature and pressure. State which one of these gases is green. This part will take later, but the gas that's green is chlorine. So the answer here, chlorine. However, I don't expect you to know it from topic 1 knowledge, but it's chlorine, that's green gas. The gases shown exist as diatomic molecules. State the name of another element which has diatomic molecules and is a gas at room temperature and pressure. Remember, diatomics, they exist in the word Hunkel-Breff. So we have already from them, we have hydrogen stated, we have oxygen stated, we have nitrogen, and we have chlorine. So we are left with Br, I, or F. However, later you'll know that the bromine is not a gas, and iodine is also not a gas when we come to the halogens later on. But the only gas that's diatomic is fluorine. So the answer is fluorine. When separate samples of each of these gases are placed in a container, they will diffuse. Describe why these gases diffuse. Diffusion in general, it happens because of the random motion of particles. So the reason for any diffusion process, because of the random motion of particles. That's the main reason. If you're asked for another reason, you may say because of the difference in concentration. So always diffusion happens from high concentration to low concentration. State which of these 4 gases has the highest rate of diffusion. Remember, highest rate of diffusion, it means you have to choose the fastest. And the fastest means you have to choose the lightest. So let's get back into the gases. As you may see here, we have hydrogen gas, nitrogen gas, oxygen, and chlorine. And once again, we're looking for the lightest of them, and the lightest should be hydrogen. So the answer is hydrogen. And the reason for that, because once again, hydrogen has the lowest molecular mass. Question 9. Ammonia gas is prepared at the front of a laboratory. The pungent smell of ammonia spreads throughout the laboratory slowly. Name the process that occurs when ammonia gas spreads throughout the laboratory. The process is diffusion. Explain, using ideas about particles, why ammonia gas spreads throughout the laboratory. So we need an explanation for diffusion. Once again, diffusion happens for the main reason of random motion of particles, and the second reason because of the difference in concentration. So always diffusion happens from high to low regions of concentration. So particles move randomly. That's one of the reasons. The second reason, particles move from an area of high to low concentration. Explain why carbon dioxide gas, CO2, will spread throughout the laboratory at a slower rate than ammonia gas, NH3. Once again, slower, it means it should be heavier. So if you calculate the mass of carbon dioxide from the periodic table, 1 carbon and 2 oxygen atoms, that adds up to 44 while nitrogen and 3 atoms of hydrogen, that adds up to 17. So CO2 molecules are heavier. That's why they diffuse slower. Question 10. The graph shows the change in temperature as a sample of gas is cooled. So once again, that's a cooling curve. Name the change of state taking place between A and B. So remember, between A and B, we have both gas molecules and liquid molecules. And we haven't exceeded yet the boiling point, so the process should be condensation or condensing. Question 11. Complete the table about solids, liquids, and gases. The solid state, particles are touching one another. In the liquid state, particle arrangement is random. In the gaseous state, the type of motion is random. Question 12. A bottle of liquid perfume is left open at the front of a room. After some time, the perfume is smelled at the back of the room. Name the two physical processes taking place. Once again, spreading of a smell, that's diffusion. And you know that a perfume exists as liquid and then it gets into the gaseous form. So that's evaporation. It's not boiling because that doesn't happen at boiling point. The last question, 13. Give the name of the process that occurs when a gas turns into a liquid. Once again, that's condensing or condensation. Occurs when a solid turns into a gas without first forming a liquid. That's sublimation. That's it for today. I hope that helps. See you next time.